This 6-minute preview will focus on the first half of the Introduction to SolidWorks tutorial. This part has a lot of circles in it. To begin, I'll create a new part and click OK. For sketching a circle, I'll start with the Extrude Boss Base command, and I'll select the top plane to begin my sketch. I'll select the Circle tool. I'll click right on the origin. Notice that the circle follows my cursor around. I'll click to place the circle. Next, I'll add a diameter dimension to the circle. With the Smart Dimension tool, I'll select the circle, move my cursor up and right, click, and call this 128. The tutorial says to click OK. I'll simply hit Enter instead. Now to extrude the 2D sketch, I'll exit the sketch. I'll key in 7 for the depth. I'll click in the open space to see the preview update, and I'll click OK. Next, I'll save the part. I'll select Save and name it Pressure Plate. To create a sketch of the ring boss, I'm going to start with the same Extrude tool. I'll select the top face this time. I'm going to hit Spacebar to orient to the top view. And now I'll draw a circle onto the same center position as before. This time the dimension is going to be 75. Smart Dimension, click on the circle, move my cursor up and away, 75, enter. Also, to create a ring, I'll offset the circle. I'll select the Offset Entities tool, I'll click on the circle. Now I'll key in 5, and I'll make sure to turn on this reverse checkbox. I'll click OK. Now that the sketch is complete, I'll extrude the ring boss. I'll select Exit Sketch, and I'll click in the open area so that way when I hit Spacebar, I can reorient to a trimetric view. I'll key in 12, this time for the depth, and I'll click OK. Now for the hole, I'll start with the Extrude Cut feature this time. I'll select this face. I'll hit Spacebar, top. I'll select Circle, as before, and center the circle. This time the dimension will be 25. 25, enter. I'll exit the sketch. I'll click in the open area and hit Spacebar and set it to trimetric. This time I'll set it to Through All, and I'll click OK. Now for some fillets, I'll select the Fillet tool. I'll key in 2 millimeters for the fillet radius, and also turn on Full Preview. This way now when I select this face and this face, I can see a preview of those fillets. And I'll click OK. Now for a tall cylinder, I'm going to select the Extrude command and select this top face. Spacebar, top view. Now I'll get out the Centerline command. I'll start my center line at the origin and move my cursor straight up and click. Next I'll go directly to the Circle tool, and I'll position a circle at this top endpoint. And now for a couple of dimensions. With the Smart Dimension tool active, I'll place a 35 dimension here and a 27 dimension here. Now I'll exit the sketch, and if I click in the open space and hit Spacebar, once again reorient to trimetric, I can see the extrude's going the right way, and I'll just key in a depth of 30 this time. Click OK. Next I'll create a cut with the Extrude Cut command. I'll select this top face here. I'll just go straight to the Circle tool, and I'll hover my cursor over this edge. The center lights up. Now I can click on the center. Move the cursor away from that center and place the circle diameter. And now I'll add a dimension of 15 this time. I'll exit the sketch, and this one will be set to a Through All. Click OK. Now for some fillets, I'll change to a Hidden Lines Visible mode. It's this way when I go into my Fillet tool, I'll be able to select some of these edges right through the part without having to rotate very much or at all. I'll click OK. I'll change back to a shaded with edges, and I'll pattern these features around. With the circular pattern tool, I'll select from my feature flyout the bottom 3 features in the list, making sure all 3 pop up here. For my axis, I'll use a temporary axis under the view pull down. This way I can select this axis right in the middle of my part. For the number of instances, I'll key in 6, and I'll do equal spacing and click OK. Now for the final feature, a fillet. This last one's going to be 2 millimeters, and it's going to be applied to this edge and this edge, propagating around all those tangencies. I'll click OK and save my part, and I'm done with this first part of this tutorial.